Уважаемые друзья,
Dear colleagues and friends, hello. My name is Nikolai Butin. I'm the head of the Information Testing Department of the Education Center and the administrator of the online testing site. At our meeting today, I will bring to your attention information about a unique educational internet resource, the website for online testing of knowledge on the training program on the teachings of Grigory Grabovoi. Our meeting today will consist of three parts. The first part will be devoted to a general overview of the testing site. In the second practical part of our meeting, we will learn together how to register on the testing site. And in the third and final part of the meeting, we will also get to know the testing process in practice. After listening to this third part of the information I have provided, you will see that testing is a simple and easy process. Right now, you can see the main page of the online testing site on the screen. How do I get to this website? This website is hosted by the link whose address you see on the screen. You can access this website from any device with internet access and in any browser. We recommend using Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox browsers. Please note that for comfortable work on this site, you need to make sure that the language you need for the site's system messages is set in the upper left corner of the site page. See number 2 on the slide. If necessary, set the language you need manually in this place. Then, in the lower left corner of the page, click on the name of the language you need to get acquainted with all the text content of the site in your chosen language. See number 3 on the slide. What is this site? The online testing website is an official educational internet resource of the Education Center for Education program on the teaching of Grigory Grabovoi. This website was created on the instructions of Grigory Grabovoi as a further development of educational technologies based on his teachings. That's why the online testing site is a new, important, and highly effective element of the education system according to the education program on the teaching of Grigory Grabovoi. All the materials posted on the online testing website are an integral part of the educational standard for the teachings of Grigory Grabovoi. The functioning of the online testing site ensures the implementation of the final part of the educational process according to the teachings of Grigory Grabovoi. This part is characterized by the fact that, firstly, at this stage of education, students undergo official certification on all academic topics of the education program they have studied. Secondly, they receive the relevant official documents of the Education Center, certificates of successful completion of tests signed by the director of the center, Grigory Grabovoi. Thirdly, students receive certificates of mastering of the special courses, assigning them the corresponding professional qualifications on the technologies of the teachings of Grigory Grabovoi. Fourthly, in the near future, on the instructions of Grigory Grabovoi, the administration of the testing site will complete the work, as a result of which students on the testing site will receive diplomas of education in the teachings of Grigory Grabovoi. I would like to draw your attention to one important point on this issue. Diplomas will be issued based on the information from the testing site about the results of students' certification in the process of completing test assignments and about the students' results of applying Grigori Grabovo's methods in practice. What is the main idea and purpose of creating this site? The main goal of the Education Center is to spread the teachings of Grigori Grabovoi around the world through the organization of high-quality training of its students in this teaching in many languages of the world. The site for online testing presented to your attention was created for the purpose of independent testing of knowledge by students of the Education Center on the academic courses they have studied from the training program on the teachings of Grigori Grabovoi. Thanks to the availability of this resource, one of the main objectives of the Education Center is successfully implemented in practice. The purpose of learning is to obtain results. What are the key features of the online testing site? One of the features of the testing site is that the moment of readiness for testing on the academic course and the time of this testing is determined by the learner himself. Another feature is that the online testing system can be used by students with a wide variety of educational levels. This service is suitable both for those who have just got acquainted with the teachings of Grigori Grabovoi and for those who have studied almost all the topics from the education program. The computer online testing service is absolutely free. This is a very important property of this resource. The service allows you to take tests online at any time convenient for the student. Access to tests is open in mode 24/7, that is, around the clock and 365 days a year. You can access the testing site from anywhere in the world and from any device with internet access and almost any operating system. The site interface is easy and intuitive. Taking tests is very simple and convenient. The testing system is very friendly to students. This is expressed in the following. Technical support via email is available to students. In addition, the certificates received by the student are also sent to him by email and at the same time posted in the student's personal account on the testing site. Another important point. For registered users of the testing website, a specialized Skype chat has been created. In this Skype chat, authorized users of the site receive prompt support on all testing issues and also share experience and achievements in testing with each other. In addition, the latest and most up-to-date information about the testing system is published in this chat. This is also a very important and useful moment in the work of this service. All the basic information of this site is freely available in the relevant sections of the site. In order to familiarize yourself with the online testing service in the so-called guest mode, you don't need to register on the site. There is only one restriction on the site. In order to be able to take the tests, you must register on the website yourself as an authorized user. The testing process itself is very simple. To start the testing process, the student only needs to select the topic of the test assignment that interests him, register himself in this topic, and click the Attempt Quiz Now button. The number of test attempts is unlimited. Another important top point. On the online testing site, great attention is paid to protecting the personal data of registered users of the site. Therefore, all information about the number of test attempts, test performance, results, and certificates received is available only, I emphasize, only to the registered testing participant in his personal account. This and other personal information of the student is not available to anyone else and is not shared with anyone else. What else is an online testing site useful, and what does it give its users? Those who successfully pass the test on academic topics from the training program receive a corresponding certificate confirming that the student has successfully mastered the topic on the test assignment. You can see a sample of such a certificate on the screen now. This certificate entitles you to conduct non-commercial outreach activities on the course topic indicated in the certificate. Anyone who has successfully mastered any special course receives the appropriate certificate conferring the qualification of specialist in the field of event control using the methods and technologies of the teachings of Grigory Grabovoi on the topic of the special course specified in this certificate. You can see a sample of such a certificate on the screen now. Receipt of the certificate by a student is an official confirmation of his or her qualification and relevant competencies in the topics of the training program on the teachings of Grigory Grabovoi. The online testing system created by Grigory Grabovoi creates a most comfortable environment in the educational process and promotes a wider dissemination of the knowledge contained in the teachings of Grigory Grabovoi throughout the world. What is the structure and what are the main sections of the site? To answer this question, let's go to the language section of the site we need. For example, in the English language section, the following sections are presented in each language section of the testing website. About the site, testing system of the education center, list of courses, special courses, how to get access to the site, training program on the teachings of Grigory Grabovoi, testimony on the practical results of applying the methods of the teachings of Grigory Grabovoi, exchange of experience and practical recommendations on testing technology verification of the validity of the test. In order to save time for our meeting today, I will not comment on the content of each of these sections of the testing site. But at the same time, I ask you to independently familiarize yourself with the information of each of the sections presented on the site. Such independent study of the information materials of the site will allow you to learn a lot about this unique educational project of Grigory Grabovoi and successfully complete all test tasks. I recommend that you not just read, but literally study the information in the section Education Center Testing System. This is very important. The Education Center Testing System section contains the fundamental document of the site, regulation on the procedure for organizing and conducting online computer testing in the Education Center. By studying this document, you will receive comprehensive information and answers to all questions regarding the computer online testing system. One more very important and obligatory for studying section of the site, section Special Courses. The Special Courses section contains information about a completely new element of the Education Center's educational system, special courses on the teachings of Grigory Grabovoi. By going to this section, we recommend you to study another important regulatory document of the Education Center, Regulation on Special Courses according to the training program on the teachings of Grigori Grabovoi. The How to get access to the site section provides detailed information with screenshots on how to obtain authorized access to the site. This section is also recommended for mandatory review. I draw your attention to one more section of the testing website, verification of the validity of the test certificate. By entering this section, you can check the received certificate for its validity using the unique identification code contained in the certificate. In conclusion, here is some additional reference information. At the very bottom of any page on the site, you will see the following information. Here is the email address of the site's technical support. You can contact the website administration with any questions and you will definitely receive an answer. Don't hesitate to ask even the simplest questions. This area of the page also contains other reference information. Thus, we have briefly learned about the structure of the testing website, and now let's move on to practice. In the second part of our meeting today, I will introduce you to the process of self-registration on an online testing site as an authorized user. Now you can see the main page of the testing site on the screen again. On this page of this site, we see information that to register on the testing site, you need to follow the link to the How to get access to the site section. Click on the name of the section and go to this section. On this page, you need to carefully review all the information posted in this section of this site. This information provides detailed instructions for registration. On this page, we see a screenshot of the registration form for your new account on the testing site. I would like to draw your attention to the rules for filing in each field in the registration form. After reviewing the rules for filling out the registration form, we proceed to fill out this form by clicking on the appropriate icon. Attention! Here, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that in this registration form, you need to fill in all fields, including those that are not marked as mandatory. For example, city, country, Skype ID. The first field is login username. You create the login yourself, but there is a strict rule for filing in this field. Your login must consist of two parts. The first part is your last name. The second part is the first two letters of your name. For example, if the student's first name is John and last name is Smith, then the login should be written as Smith Joe. And one more important point. The login is written only in lowercase small letters. Numbers and service symbols are not allowed. Next, the password field. You also create the password yourself. But password recording is also performed according to strict rules. These rules are described in detail in the instructions and briefly in the registration form. As an example, let's insert this password. Next, we repeat our personal email address twice. For example, attention, the mailing address must be your real personal mailing address. That is not corporate and not used for mass mailings. There are two reasons for this. Firstly, the site has automatic spam protection. Therefore, suspicious email addresses and therefore your account on the site can be blocked. Secondly, the email addresses must be real because certificates of successful completion of tests and other important information from the testing system will be sent to these addresses. The next field is surname, Smith. Name, first name, John. Country, select from the list, for example, United States. City, Washington. Language, language select from the list. Field, Skype ID. In this field, you must insert your Skype account ID. Please note, you must specify your Skype ID or, in other words, your Skype login and not your Skype name. You can copy your Skype ID from your Skype account data. User agreement, site policy agreement. Here you need to click on the button Link to Site Policy Agreement to read this important document. After that, we put a mark in the checkbox I agree. Next, go to the item Secret Question and put a mark in the checkbox I'm not a robot. Capture Security Question. Click on the button Open My New Account. After clicking on the button Create My New Account, you need to go to your mailbox. If you have followed correctly all the recommendations listed above, then you will see something like this letter in your mailbox asking you to follow the internet link provided in the letter to confirm your registration. Click on the line with the link specified in the email. After confirming your email, you will be redirected to another page, which will take you directly to the main page of the testing site, but as an authorized user. That's all. This completes the registration process on the testing site. As you can see, Everything is very simple and clear. You only need to follow exactly the recommendations that are set out in the instructions from the section How to get access this site. In this part of our meeting today, I will introduce you to the process of completing test tasks in practice. I remind you that all the information posted on the testing site is available to absolutely everyone without registration. However, there is one limitation. Only those students who have registered on the testing website can take the test. Now let's get to know the testing technology. The administration of the testing site has tried to make the testing process very simple and intuitively understandable. There are a lot of recommendations and instructions on all the pages of the site that help students get answers to absolutely all questions about the testing process. I will try to briefly tell you about the testing technology and give you some important recommendations that will help you pass the tests successfully. To make sure that completing the test task is a very simple process, let's take a demo test with you now. Before starting the demonstration of testing technology, I registered a conditional student account with the name John Smith on the website. In addition, I have created a demo course on the testing site, according to which we will take the test. So, let's get started. In order to take the test, you need to log in to the testing site as an authorized user. To do this, enter the username and password of your account that we created earlier on this site. Username, login, Smith Joe, password. Next, enter the site section in the language you are interested in, for example, in English. Next, go to the List of Courses section. In accordance with the short instructions on how to find the test task topic you need, which is on this page, we enter the ID of our conditional test in the course search window. Left-click on the name of the test task topic we need. Next, click on the dark blue window Enroll Me on the selected course. After that, we get to the page with the academic course topic we need from the training program. On this page, click on the text Course Testing. We get to the test task completion page. We carefully read all the information that is located on this page. Read the detailed testing instructions. These instructions are very detailed and clear. They contain screenshots of the entire testing process. Also, on this page, we get acquainted with the testing conditions. Here we learn the number of questions in the test we have chosen and the time limit for one testing attempt. At the bottom of the page, we click on the button Attempt Quiz Now. Once again, we receive a warning about the time limit for one attempt and information that after the start of testing, a timer will be started counting down the time remaining until the end of the testing attempt. Next, you must confirm your consent to start the testing session by clicking on the Start Attempt button. The testing process has started. On the screen, we see the test questions and answer options for these questions. And in the upper right corner of the testing page, we see a window with a countdown timer counting down the time remaining until the end of the current testing attempt. We carefully read the questions and answer options. We put a mark next to those answers that we consider correct. Let's conduct two experiments of taking a test. The first option is when the test task was completed with an error. The second option is when the test was completed successfully. We put marks next to the answers. One of the marks will be with the wrong answer. We press the button Finish Test. Next, submit and finish. The result of your test task is displayed on the screen, stating that you have answered only one of the two questions offered to you correctly. We suggest you to study this course deeper and take the test again. When you are ready to take the retest, click on the Take the Test Again button. The time between the first and second attempts is not limited. It can be 2 minutes or 10 days, as you wish. We will take the retest right now. We are taken to the page with the test again, and now we select only the correct answers. Please note that in each attempt, the order, sorting of questions and answers changes. Click the Finish Test button and then Submit and Finish. We get to the page with the log of our test results again. As we can see, now the testing system congratulates us on the successful completion of the test task and offers to download the certificate to your computer. To complete the test task, download the certificate to your computer. To do this, click on the text Certificate of Successful Completion of the Test in the lower right corner of this window. That's it. This completes the testing on the topic of the academic course you have chosen. The test is successfully completed. Immediately after successfully completing the test task, Your certificate of successful completion of the test will be placed in your personal account. In addition, a PDF file with the certificate will be sent to the email address you specified when registering on the testing site. You can view and download the certificate you received to your computer in several ways. First, on the page of the course for which you passed the test. Second, in your personal account in the My Certificates section. Third, in your mailbox. On this issue, I will give you a small but useful hint. It's better to view the certificate on the course page or in your personal account, and it is best to download the certificate to your computer from your mailbox. This recommendation is explained by the fact that if you download the certificate from your personal account or from the certificate viewing window, then the names of all downloaded files with certificates will be the same: certificate testing.pdf. This is not very convenient because in your archive of certificates on your computer, you will have to manually add the name of the test topic for which you received the certificate to the names of the files with certificates. But if you download a PDF file with a certificate from your mailbox, the file name with the certificate will contain the test assignment identification code. This is much more convenient for archiving certificates on your computer. This concludes the review of the test assignment process. As you can see, everything is really very simple and intuitively understandable. You only need to read and strictly follow the recommendations that are set out on the pages of the site and in the corresponding instructions. I remind you that if you have any difficulties with registering on the site or have any other questions, don't hesitate to contact the testing site technical support service with these questions. You will find the technical support email address at the bottom of any page of the testing site. I wish you all successful completion of the test assignments.